What's up, Jet Nation? Blind Bean sitting here in the sun, can't see a thing, but I'm here to tell you about the extensive knowledge I've acquired on our undrafted free agent class. Stick around. All right, Jet Nation, like I said, I am back. I have spent the better part of the last week really getting to know our undrafted free agent class. Please forgive the sun. It's the last spot around me where you can actually see me. It's either shadows or blinding sunlight. So I got to put my duck bill down here. As you notice, I'm from an era when the bill is bent. I don't understand how these youngins wear the flat bills and they keep the stickers and tags on it. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm showing my age with my duck bill. I love a good bent cap. I'm from the age when we got a hat, the first thing we did was and now, this one is, so it represents that thinking. But anywho, I'd like to discuss our undrafted free agent class with you. In truth, like I said, I know more about these guys than half the draft picks, if not half the players on our squad. It's amazing what you can find. Some of these guys, it's actually pretty hard to find anything on. They're pretty obscure guys. Some of them are really interesting, though. So without further ado, let's get into our class. So let's start with Sterling Johnson. Sterling Johnson, I believe, was the first guy signed. He was one of the priority free agents, so we went right after him. This is a 6'4", 285-pound defensive end from Coastal Carolina. Now, interestingly, he had offers from Florida State and all that when he came out of high school, and he actually went to Clemson. He spent 3 years at Clemson and was a pretty good player up there. And he was a graduate transfer to Coastal Carolina, so he wanted, I guess, some more eligibility. He played. He wasn't done with his postgraduate degree and wanted to do all that. So at Coastal Carolina, he was one of their best players, and like I said, he had offers from all over the place. There was a lot of attention given to him, and he looks like a quality guy. They actually expected him to be drafted. He's one of the guys that our defensive line, although it looks like it's well stocked, there are guys on there like Kyle Phillips, like Fadukasi and Kaufusi and all those cats. The Jets are just bringing guys in and seeing who shows up the best. You can't take an undrafted free agent. He comes in and has a decent year and just write him in as your long-term starter. So they're bringing guys like Sterling Johnson in on the bottom end of the roster, seeing who can stick. If Kyle Phillips decides, hey, take a break on his, he had a good year last year, kind of rest on his laurels. He's out, Sterling Johnson's in. So that's kind of the way it's going. I really don't see this guy coming in and lighting it up or anything. He's developmental, as is Dominique Davis. There he is. Dominique Davis is another interesting one. Again, I don't know how much how scary he is coming into the bottom end of the depth chart, but he is quality. Now, he went to UNC Pembroke, which is University of North Carolina, Pembroke. His number one quality is his leadership. The entire team looks to him as a morale booster, as their leader. He kind of leads the way. He's looked at like that guy. He's the captain. So he does fit that Joe Douglas mold. But interestingly enough, he would be literally the first UNC Pembroke player to ever get signed by an NFL team or drafted. So they haven't never had anybody drafted or signed actually make it to a club. So even though he's signed now, I think there may have been undrafted free agents that just kind of stuck around for a minute and then left, but he would be the first guy. Even if they have had guys before, he's really early in that school's ability to get NFL type of players. So when he was there, the fact that NFL teams, half of the teams in the league came and looked at him, there was a lot of hoopla about him down at UNC Pembroke, and they loved it because those players never get in front of scouts' eyes and everything. So the whole program was taking advantage of this, and they were really behind this guy. And he's a leader down there. The whole community loves him. He's a good guy. Again, I don't know how much he's going to come in and shake things up. 6'3", 315 pounds. He's a good space eater, and he was another one of our priority free agent signings. So they had their eyes on him. They knew he wasn't going to get drafted, and they just waited him, but they went for him right away. So now let's get to a different position. Let's go with our cornerback. Now this guy is getting a little bit of he's swallowing up a little bit of the hoopla surrounding our undrafted free agent class. This is Javelin Guidry. Now, number one, the name Javelin. I don't know where that comes from. It's cool. I don't know anybody named Javelin. Not anybody I've ever met. None of them were named Javelin. It's a cool name. Javelin Guidry. Sounds good. And he ran a 4.29. He was the second fastest guy behind Ruggs in the entire combine. There are crayfish coming out of the water next to me. You hear that? It's creepy around here. Yeah, there's all these holes around, all these little mud piles, and I learned that they're crayfish. The crayfish dig in and they come out. So the shadows are coming. The sun is moving, everybody. But Javelin Guidry, so he had me excited. Second fastest guy in the entire combine. I'm going to be real honest with you. I watched a lot of this guy, and I don't like him. I don't like him one bit. And, I watched, sometimes you can only find highlight reels, and sometimes you can find whole games. I watched the entire game, singling out Javelin Guidry. I watched the entire game versus Texas. He's from Utah. I watched the entire Texas game. He shies away from tackles. He's poor in coverage. He got beat 3 huge bombs and a big touchdown. I mean, beat, man. Toast. And he had this really, really impressive interception, so I'll give him that. You hear that shit? I don't know what this is. Somebody just woke up and they're all partying. Like, get him, get him. I'm in the wrong spot right now. We're going to hurry this up. I'm going to get the hell out of here. So Javelin Guidry, he can't tackle. He's a bad blitzer. You watch him on a blitz, he runs in and he just kind of stands around. Like the quarterback very easily can fake him with a pump. He just stops. He's frozen. But he's got good technique. His back pedal, his transition is very smooth. He's got the ability, but I think I'm going to use the word. I'm going to use it. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Maybe my editor wants to bleep me, but he's a pussy. That's all I got from him, man. I don't like this kid. Maybe Greg Williams can snap him out of it, but again, poor tackling, bad angles, bad blitzer, got burned. Some of the biggest plays, if not all the biggest plays, by Duvernay. He was clearly outclassed. And he even had a pass interference on the touchdown. He got burned. So it was just like they were throwing yellow flags at him, hitting him in the head. He's getting burned for a touchdown. He's got mud in his face. The guy, I wasn't impressed. That's Javelin Guidry. And I went in wanting to like him. With that speed, wanted to like him. Lawrence Cager. Everybody a buzz about Lawrence Cager. This guy is 6'5". 6'5", 220 pounds. He is a big, big receiver. Exactly the kind of guy I want to see more of brought onto the New York Jets. Here's an interesting thing about him, though. Really small hands. Little tiny hands. 8 7/8. So he's got under 9-inch hands. Now, just to give you some perspective, he's 6'5". He has the exact same size hands as Jamison Crowder, who's 5'9". 5'9", 6'5", and they have the same little tiny hands. So that's an issue. Now, he actually doesn't have too much problem catching the ball when it is thrown to him and all things are correct, but that is an issue. It's something that teams look like. I went through all these stats about how many players with under 9.5-inch hands actually make it from each draft class, and it's low, man. Usually it's around 10-inch hands. Those guys are almost insured to make it. Most of the time, those guys make it. The guys with the smaller hands have a lot more difficulty, and this guy's hands are small, especially for his size. He's a good possession receiver. Over the middle, he can block. He's a fearless blocker, and he wins contested catches. But he has a lot of injuries, man. He lost the entire year in, I think it was 2017. The whole year he was gone. He also had some wrist issues, and then last year he ended the season. He made it through the last game, but he ended the season. and he went and had surgery on his ankle. So that's why this guy didn't, I mean, you look at his size and his stats, his speed, everything, it's all there. And you wonder, why isn't this guy getting drafted? Little tiny hands and surgery after surgery after surgery. So I'd love to see this guy make it. I don't know, guys. I don't know if he's going to beat out guys like Vincent Smith and Berrios, because don't forget, he's going to be the bottom end of the wide receiver, of the wide receiver group, and those guys got to play special teams. Is this the guy, with broken legs and wrists and ankles and stuff, running down the field as a gunner? Is that what you want to see? They got to play specials, so I don't know if you want him out there. And his routes suck. There's that. Nice. He runs rounded routes. He's not very sharp. Again, we can work on this. He's got Hines Ward and Jefferson back there. Maybe they can work with him. His size alone. I mean, look, he's got he's the type of clay you want to work with. So we'll see. But again, big problems, and that's why he is an undrafted free agent. We didn't get any steals in there. Okay, so. What else we got here? So we got George Campbell. Let's stay with the wide receiver. This is another crazy guy. He's 6'4", 202 pounds. So he's a little bit smaller than Cager, but he's another big dude, man. He was a 5-star recruit out of, coming out of high school. 5-star recruit, like 10th in the nation. And all that, but he has not really had much of a career in college. He played for Florida State for 3 years and then was a graduate transfer to West Virginia, and that's where we got him out of. Interesting thing about him, he actually committed to Michigan, and then toward the end of the year, his senior year, he just said, I'm not going to Michigan. So I don't know what that means about a guy, but, you like guys, when they commit to something. I think the word commit has lost its significance in this day and age. But when you commit to something, you're committing to something. So I don't know what happened there, but that is something to just consider with him. He committed to Michigan, decommitted to Michigan, went to Florida State. Interesting little tidbit about this guy. In the quarterfinals in high school, playing against a team called Palmetto High School. After the game, one of the coaches on Palmetto High School, and they won the game 13-12, so they beat Palmetto High School. One of the coaches allegedly punched George Campbell in the mouth, split his mouth open. So I don't know what that's all about. A little bit of this, a little bit of I decommitted. You don't tell me to commit, that kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. But the guy punched him in the face. That's what the story is. It's never been confirmed. I think they kind of swept that under the rug. 5-star recruits can get that. But that's something that happened to George Campbell. Let's look at Shyheim Carter. So it looks like Shyheim. It's pronounced Shyheim. Shyheim Carter was a defensive back for the Alabama Crimson Tide, right? So, interesting, he's actually from Louisiana and made a big stink that he didn't like LSU, so Alabama was real happy to sign him. It was a big thing. He was a high school quarterback and won MVP as a high school quarterback, but he was also a highly sought-after recruit for cornerback, and when he got to Alabama, he ended up playing more safety. This guy is more well-suited for safety with his skill set. Here's the problem. He's small for his safety. He's 5'10", 194 pounds, and he doesn't necessarily use his size well. Like a safety, you want to have a certain imposing ability to, number one, take angles and lay pops and be able to cover the back end. He can cover it, but he's a poor tackler. He does not know how to tackle, and he takes poor angles on people. There's nothing more annoying when the ball's up in the air to watch your safety come and run under the damn pass route and then turn and have to chase somebody. He's not the worst. It's like Don Boyd Odegaard running around out there. So, again, very talented athlete. Technique is pretty good, better suited for safety, small, and takes bad angles, and he's not the best tackler in the world. So who did I forget? Bryce Huff out of Memphis. I watched 2 of this guy's games. Let me tell you something about this guy. Out of everybody, out of our undrafted free agent class, this is the guy I see sticking. He is an animal. He's an animal. So the injuries and things like that, he's 6'2", 254 pounds. He did play defensive end, but he's more than likely going to be the 3-4 outside linebacker kind of a guy. But he is relentless. Very good first step, good moves, aggression, very aggressive, good movements, good ability with his hands to keep players in front of him and control the linemen. His pops are sick. There are so many plays, if you watch his games, where he is just, the way that he connects with not even the ball carrier, the guy holding the ball, God forbid, but the other guys, the way he attacks the play itself is something to behold. This guy, for all intents and purposes, he should have been drafted. This is the one guy that I see making it out of everybody. I am most excited about Bryce Huff. Good news for him is we actually have quite the need there. So if he could be somebody along with Jabari Zuniga, that would be nice, a real nice turn of events for Joe Douglas and our pass rush. Now, Jared Hilbers was another priority free agent for us. This is the offensive tackle out of Washington. He played the right side along with Trey Adams, who had one of the worst combines out of anybody in any position. Trey Adams had a problem at the combine. Jared Hilbers, we actually gave $62,000 to sign with us. Now, it's so funny because if somebody gets $1 million, I think, what's the difference? But when they gave this guy $62,000, I thought to myself, holy cow, they're committing to this guy. $62,000, that's significantly less than $1 million, I think. So it's weird how these figures have just convoluted our brains. $1 million, just what's $2 million? Why didn't we sign Robbie Anderson? It was only $2 million. Anyway, they gave, for an undrafted free agent, $62,000 is quite a bit. That's what we gave this guy to sign with us. He's a right tackle who has played left tackle. Now, when Trey Adams went down, so just to give you a little perspective, Trey Adams was a significantly better prospect than Jared Hilbers. And Trey Adams is not the best prospect. So Trey Adams was the left tackle. He went down. Jared Hilbers slid over and was able to play well, actually, in that spot. So he was an adequate left tackle. The interesting thing with him is they say he's a very patient athlete, just an athlete through and through. He's very patient. He doesn't get panicky. If he gets beat, he can readjust, reset, and get back into the play and usually gets the job done. So he's a truly developmental guy. I actually think this guy might stick. He's 6'7", 316 pounds, and he's athletic. So it's exactly what Gase likes, these tall tackles, athletic ability. He's fast. What else I got on him? That's about it. I got, he was another one. Some of these guys are real hard to find things. A punch in the face for a wide receiver. That's the kind of information I'm getting. But here's what I'll say about our undrafted free agent class. I was more excited about it going in than coming out. That's what I'll say. The wide receivers, they're going to have a hard time. I was nervous for my boy Vincent Smith. I've let it be known before I like that guy. I think he's got a lot of potential. And I was nervous, like guys 6'5", 6'4" coming in might be able to take his spot. And look, if they can, I'm all about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not so homer that I want guys who suck, these Jags, to stay just because I like them. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know if these guys are the guys. I'll say it that way, huh? So anyway, I think the class has some potential, the free agent class, that is. Bryce Huff, maybe Lawrence Cager. Lawrence Cager, another thing, he had a touchdown every 5.6 catches. Like George Campbell, he has 19 total college catches. 7 of them are touchdowns. So there's something weird about these guys, and their size is there. So who knows? If our coaching staff is worth a damn, maybe we got something there. But we just don't know. But my guy is Bryce Huff, and my other guy is Jared Hilbers. Those are the guys I think that are going to stick above and beyond all the others. Shyheim Carter, I don't know, guys. Javelin Guidry, I'd love to be proven wrong about that cat, but you heard it here first. I'm putting it on the line. I do not think that guy is an NFL player. Hope I'm wrong. don't think I am. Go and watch that Texas game and tell me what you think. I'd love to see some comments and some other directions and places I can look. I'm all about it. I don't have a horse in the race as far as these guys being good or bad. I want them all to be good. But there it is, guys. About 10 minutes longer than I thought it would take to get that point across to you. That's our undrafted free agent class. I hope you're enjoying the aftermath of the draft and all that. I hope everybody's staying safe. Go to jetnation.com. Get in the conversation. Comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. We get thousands of views, and nobody subscribe to Jet Nation YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Hit the bell. We'll let you know when a video is coming up. We're trying to make at least one a week. And I miss you, and I love you all. Go Jets. Wait! I can't even believe it, Jet Nation. I almost ended this video without mentioning my #1 undrafted free agent of them all. One Lamar Jackson. You may have heard of him. Lamar Jackson from Nebraska, not the other guy who's about to not have quite as good of a year as he had last year. I predict failure, but it's a different video entirely. Let's talk about our undrafted free agent gem, Lamar Jackson, the cornerback from Nebraska, 6'2", 208 pounds, 32.5-inch arms. The guy was supposed to be drafted, everybody. Like I've shared with you before, I had Lamar Jackson as a late 4th, 5th. That's where I saw him going. He's the biggest cornerback in the entire draft. There's nobody else that matches his size, his lengthy arms and all that sort of stuff. He's not quite as fast as some other guys, but guys, this guy should have been drafted. If you look at Bryce Hall sliding to the 5th, then you can understand why a guy like Lamar Jackson would go as an undrafted free agent. But this is the first time since I've been a Jets fan that the Jets have actually went out and gotten the undrafted free agent that I wanted. It never happens like that. They don't even usually get the position that I want. So we grabbed Lamar Jackson. Here's the bad news. The bad news is that really good shifty receivers leave him in the dust. Be quiet, you. The dog's over there. See him? Look at that. That's my dog hiding. He loses the ball when he turns around with his back to the quarterback, has to eyeball the receiver, can't track the ball himself, those types of things. Every single problem that he has can be coached away. This is the perfect guy to work on special teams, to be either a gunner or, somebody on our special teams can be on every single unit. He's big enough to do that, and somebody to actually work with actual potential. Greg Williams and our staff, this kid is he's going to be perfect for us. 2 years, 3 years, mark my words, he will be a starting cornerback for us. He's got that much potential. I could not be more excited. Yes, I like Bryce Huff. That's the other guy. But Lamar Jackson, I can't believe we got him. I'm so incredibly excited. Our cornerback room is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Be happy about Lamar Jackson, guys. I felt like there was something else I wanted to say to you about him, but that's okay. Just know that I friggin' got him in, which I can't believe I almost forgot. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming.